Gandhar Vikiri Hari Shri Shri Aravino Bihari Ji Vijay Nityaveda Pravishtam Vishnu Padastho Sri Shivan Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Paripajikacharya Astodara Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai Nityaveda Pravishtam Vishnu Padastho Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Pragyante Srila Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Maha Bhagavad Srila Gopishora Bhavaji Maharaj Ki Jai Sachidananda Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Bhavaji Maharaj Ki Jai Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Gauri Vedanta Charya Srila Baladev Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Charya Ki Jai Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhakti Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakti Das Raghunath Sar Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Shri Surup Damodara Ramanandadi Shri Gaura Shri Vinda Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Antaji Mayapur Samantaji Kauriji Mataji Kauriji Pujaji Janaji Madhudramaji Pujaji Bhamika Shinavadi Dhamaki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Gopa Govardhan Dwara Sonamika Shri Gosmala Dhamaki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Samakata Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari Om Om Ajnanam Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurandritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tvadaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadavaktaya Namo Namah Yam Pravajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruma Jivaro Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Vanedu Tam Sarvabodharidayam Munimanatosmi Bhaktyavahinaya Pararavakshay Chittasya Kamadikaram Nandade Kripamaikam Sharanam Prapadyam Prende Namaste Charanarindam Tavaivasmi Tavaivasmi Najivami Kambina Iti Vidyayarani Tamnayamam Charamanti. First I offer my unlimited obeisances and the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Bhakti Gurudeva. Nityaveda Pravishta Om Vishnu Padasto Vidasati Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. And the same unlimited obeisances and the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shri Gurudeva. Om Vishnu Padasto Vidasati Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaja. To all of our disciplic succession and all the assembled devotees. So Isha Prabhu, who's the fearless leader of Pure Bhakti TV, has requested that we speak about a few words about the meaning of Vyasa Puja, because it's coming up in a few days with Srila Gurudeva. So, what comes to mind? Okay. What comes to mind is the words Vyasa Puja. It's Srila Vyasadeva who worship on Vyasapuja. And Sri Guru is a manifestation of Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is a literary incarnation of Krishna, and Vyas means diameter. If you have a diameter from one end of the circumference of a circle to the other end, inside, that diameter is called Vyas. And then you have the central point right in the middle, between one end of the circumference and another. So the middle, or the center of all existence, is Radha and Krishna. And the ends, the whole circumference, is all of material existence. So, the bona fide Guru, still Bhakti.
You can move it back.
So Sri Guru is a manifestation of Vyas. He starts out in the center of all existence, that is at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And he spreads the glories of Radha and Krishna throughout all of material existence. He has so much power. The question was asked last night, how can Sri Guru, or why is it that we sometimes read that Sri Guru is a manifestation of Nityananda Prabhu, and at the same time we read that he's an associate of Srimati Radhika? So the answer is given by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the first Adi Lila, chapter 1. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself says that I worship my Guru as simultaneously a manifestation of Nityananda Prabhu and as associate of Srimati Radhika. By ras, or pastime, or the flavorful relationship with Radha and Krishna, he is a maidservant of Srimati Radhika and her intimate associate. In terms of tattva, the philosophical truth of the principle of undivided Guru, he is a manifestation of that undivided principle, Sri Nityananda Prabhu or Sri Balaram. So it depends on the angle of vision. If you look at the sun from one angle, you see the sun globe. If you get real close, you see the sun, all the palaces and the details of the streets of the sun. If you see it from another point of view, the same sun is just a disk. Here we are in Hawaii, which is clear across the planet from India. But somebody in India will say the sun is on my head, and I'll say the sun is over my head. That's the sun disk. And seen from another point of view, the sun is shine. All one can see is the sunshine. So similarly, Guru is what he is, but we see him depending on a particular point of view, whether we see him by tattva or we see him by ras. Because he's an associate of Radha and Krishna, everywhere they are, he is. In one class, he said that today, a new question was asked to me that I had never heard before, and I answered it in a new way. Somebody asked me, where is Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur now? And I answered in a new way. I said, he's everywhere, because his Lord is everywhere, Radha and Krishna. They're in every atom. Andantarastam Paramana Chayantarastam. they're in every atom. Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami. That Radha Govinda is in every atom. So their maidservants have to be there too in order to serve them. Wherever they are, they have to have their service. So Sri Guru is also everywhere. I once asked Gurudev regarding the Guru being in every atom. And he replied that when Sukadeva Goswami was just about to recite Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Pariksit, everybody, all the great sages in the universe found out. They didn't have satellites, they didn't have email, DSL, but somehow or other, so many thousands of sages found out and immediately appeared on the spot where Maharaj Pariksit was to hear. So, if this is possible for the sages, the universal sages who are nowhere near as powerful as our acharyas coming from the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Rupa Goswami, then what to speak of how much power they have. So this can be applied, of course, only to the bona fide Guru. We see him by tattva and we see him by ras. By ras, I asked Gurudev once regarding our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Swami Maharaj. I said that, I joined Prabhupada so many years ago, and in the beginning everything was fine and dandy. But then I committed so many, like thousands or tens of thousands of offenses, that just the thought of the name is scary. And, the word Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. And in fact, in the late 60s and early 70s, if you didn't say Srila, the big guns of the temple would call you in. So I told Gurudev that this whole concept creates a wall for me, a wall between me and Prabhupada, between my offenses and the highness of Srila Prabhupada. So I said, isn't there some other way I can look at him to start my relationship over again and in a more intimate way? So he said, Prabhu is Krishna, but Krishna is only half. The other half is Radharani. And in fact, Radharani is the bigger half, the better half. I once asked him about the beads, the japa beads. There are 108 beads, and the first eight beads represent the main gopis, and the rest of the beads are other groups of gopis. And the head bead is Krishna. So where is Radha? So Gurudev said the head bead is divided into two parts, the small part and the big part. And Radharani is the big part. I asked him in Mawilamba after a class, sometimes you say that Radharani is superior to Krishna, and yet we read in all Shastras that she's coming from Krishna, so how could she be superior? So Gurudev replied that the fruit is coming from the tree, and yet it's the sweetest part of the tree. So, back to Prabhupada, a more rasic understanding is that Prabhu means Krishna, but only half, and not the better half. The better half is Srimati Radhika. So, Prabhupada means he who's always serving the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, but with a leaning towards Srimati Radhika. And then he described what any Prabhupada in our line looks like as a follower of Rupa Goswami Prabhupada in his Siddhadeha as Upamanjari. He started to describe the sari full of jari and the black braid full of flowers and jewelry. So he said that's Prabhupada. So when Gurudeva was answering the question about Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur being everywhere, he said he's everywhere and he's also in Goloka Vrindavan. And from Goloka Vrindavan, he's giving mercy. Wherever Radha and Krishna are there, their near and dear associates must always be there. Another interesting point that Srila Gurudeva made about Guru Tattva, and he made this point in Hawaii about 3 years ago, that Guru is so heavy that he's heavier even than God. Mountains are very heavy, but Guru is even heavier than the mountain. And in fact, he's heavier than Krishna. In the Gita Govinda, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, mostly in separation, by Srila Gurudeva Goswami, it's explained that, as you know, there's a verse, Smaragaro Kandanam Mama Shiru Shimandanam Dehi Parapalavam Udaram. That is, and it goes with this very famous Seva Kunj painting above, that Krishna's begging forgiveness from Srimati Radhika, saying that I'm burning in the fire of separation from you, O Radha. Please put your lotus feet on my head and forgive me, accept me, and in this way show your very magnanimous and liberal nature. So in the Gita Govinda, it's stated that Krishna not only says this to Radhika, but he also says it to her maidservants. He also puts the dust of their feet on his head. This is very, very inconceivable. But Gurudev said, this is Guru Tattva. That he's so powerful that even Krishna surrenders. Once on Srila Gurudev's Vyasa Puja Day in Mawilamba, about 4 or so years ago, he was having the devotees sing various songs to Sri Guru. And then he had the devotees sing Atmani Vedanam, which is the kirtan by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a prayer to Lord Krishna, saying that ever since I surrendered to you, I see joy in all 4 directions. I've totally forgotten my previous history, that I'm so-and-so's son or father or relative or friend or enemy. I've totally forgotten my past history, and I only see myself as your servant, the servant in your house. And all the troubles that I undergo in your service are the greatest happiness. You're mine and I'm yours. There's no greater wealth to have. So, interestingly enough, Gurudev had the devotees sing that on his Vyasa Puja Day, very clearly indicating that that song is also meant for Sri Guru. That when we surrender to him, there's joy in all around. And how do we forget our past history? Because Sri Guru is just like fire. And no matter how much garbage you have, like in some buildings they have what's called an incinerator. You throw the garbage there and it goes all the way to the bottom in these big, like 5-story flames. So Sri Guru is like that. No matter how much garbage of anarthas and past sins and offensive nature one has, if he takes shelter of Sri Guru, then Sri Guru burns that. If he has so much lust, the disciple doesn't direct the lust at Sri Guru, but yet he puts the lust at his feet, and Guru burns it. He said on one one Kartik, that if you would come to me and tell me, oh, I'm so lusty, please help me, then that pure Vaishnava can take away the lust right away. But if you don't, if you try to hide it, well, I don't want him to disapprove of me, I don't want him to reject me, or worse than that, I don't want him to create trouble for me. So I won't tell him about my lust. So Gurudev said what happens is, it gets bigger and bigger, and then it destroys you, and you lose your bhakti, and Mahaprabhu goes away, and Bhakti Devi goes away. So, how is it that Guru is so heavy? Because Krishna himself comes as Sri Guru. There's one verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila chapter 1, that the Shiksha Guru is none different from the personality of Krishna. Krishna himself comes as internally as the Supersoul, and externally as the greatest devotee, in order to deliver the aspiring devotee. So Krishna himself comes in that form, and that's why he's so powerful. I once asked him, because there was a controversy of whether or not Sri Guru is omnipotent. Of course, he's not omnipotent like Krishna, because Krishna is one without a second. However, when the controversy was going on, and some people were saying that it's Mayavadi philosophy to think that the Guru is omniscient, Sarvagya, Trikalagya, he knows past, present, and future. I asked Gurudev, how is it that the Guru knows, is omniscient? How is it that he's like Paramatma, and how is it that he's different? So I thought he was going to say he knows a little bit less, but he said, oh, he knows more. In fact, he knows more than Krishna, because Krishna is so busy with the cows and the cowherd boys that he doesn't have the wherewithal to consider or be aware of our suffering. So Krishna has condensed mercy, and when that condensed mercy takes a shape, then that is called Sri Guru, and he's aware. I'll take questions now, and we can continue the discussion through the medium of questions, because there'll be lots of talk on this topic over the next days.
When a conditioned soul comes to the point of pure bhakti, then at that point, does that apply to him as well?
Does what apply?
What you were saying, that maybe try to remember yourself.
So the question is, when a conditioned soul, tell me if I'm right, when a conditioned soul comes to the platform of perfection, do these qualities also apply to him? There's different kinds of gurus. There's different kinds of gurus. There's a partial guru who has partial powers. There's more complete, and there's complete. And the completeness or partiality of the Guru depends upon the Istadev and the relationship with that Istadev. Just like Lord Ramchandra is a manifestation of Krishna and not as powerful as Krishna. So his most intimate servants are not going to be as powerful as Krishna's intimate servants. If the Istadev is, the more complete the Istadev is, the more complete and powerful the servant is. So, for example, Prahlad Maharaj is a praying bhakta. He's glorified all over so many universes. And yet, Gurudev said he's a partial guru, because his Istadev, Lord Srinivas, is a plenary but not equal manifestation of Krishna. And say Haridas Thakur, he's so elevated that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu carried him in his own arms, and with his own hands. He manipulated the sand so that Haridas Thakur could be put in samadhi. And he himself went shop to get arms for his samadhi ceremony. And Maya herself became a disciple of Srila Haridas Thakur when first she came in the role of a prostitute. And still, Srila Haridas Thakur is not a complete guru of the highest standard relative to the intimate associates of Srimati Radhika, who's the most complete. So according to one's Swarup, when he becomes perfect, he has the powers of those who are Nityasiddhas. He becomes one with them in the Swarupata. So that in Goloka Vrindavan they don't make a distinction like how many years have you been here or have you ever left and things like that. There's no difference between a sadhan-siddha, devotee, associate, and Nityasiddha.
One second.
So we can see how ignorant we are to have forgotten ourselves. Any other questions or comments? The devotee asked last night from the internet, how can we feel close to Gurudev when he's not, when we're not in physical proximity? In Badger, I forget whether it was last year or the year before, he said, suppose there's a husband and wife, and the husband was able to come to Badger and the wife wasn't, because they didn't have enough money. So the husband is always thinking, how's my wife doing back in Vancouver? And the wife is always thinking, oh, my husband is so lucky he's hearing the Hari Katha. And she's thinking of the Hari Katha that he tells her about, or that he sends her on the Hari Katha mailing list. So who's more with the Guru? The wife is more. An example was given of a lamp. Just underneath the lamp, it's very dark, but the lamp spreads its light out. Another, that doesn't mean that all of Gurudev's, Sri Guru's associates are in the dark. But it just means that it's not necessarily of relevance that because he has more physical association, he's more near and dear.
Yeah, Prabhupada actually had very little physical association with his Guru, maybe only 10 times or so.
Yeah, we showed the example. Any other questions or comments?
One small question. As Gurudev had said that Narayana Muni expands himself to as many expansions as Krishna has. As many as Krishna is, that many as Narada's. So is Narada aware of each expansion? Or is he only aware of that one expansion? as you know, like if say I was sitting here, and would I be aware of all my relations with that, or just only?
The question is, I think, we read in the Krishna book that Narada was able to expand and go to the different palaces of Krishna and see him in his different activities with different wives. So is Narada aware, and is everybody in the level of Narada aware of their different expansions, awarenesses, or are they just aware of one? There's Gurudeva Prabhupada said there's two kinds of like expansions of people. One is like a photograph, and there's no consciousness, it's just expanded, like you make prints in a photograph. And that's like a materialistic yogi can do that. But a pure devotee, he can be fully aware, like he could be in your house and fully aware of you, and in my house and fully aware of me. In 1997, we were in Oregon, and one old devotee that knew the Gurudeva said, "You have so many followers, how am I going to get close?" So Gurudeva said, just like Krishna, when he was having lunch with the cowherd boys, each one felt that he was right up front. So Guru has that power also, that anyone and everyone at the same time can be right up front. Okay, so should we end here then?
One last question. What would be the best and most pleasing service that to offer to Guru for PSP?
Sorry?
What would be the most pleasing offering then for if you're going to offer PSP? What would be the most pleasing thing to offer for Guru?
Well, we always hear that the most pleasing is to offer the most expensive thing, which is the heart, which has the most value. If one gives himself, oneself is much more valuable than all of his possessions because it includes his possessions. So if one gives himself, then automatically everything is given, and he doesn't have to give anything separately. Even, say, Srila Goswami, he doesn't have to offer bhoga. If you eat something, it's considered offered because he's offered himself. But of course that's easier said than done. Yeah, it takes great realization. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnava. Oh, Mahaprasad, you're not different from Krishna, from his name, from Radha and Krishna, from the Vaishnavas. So all these Krishna Tadiya, these things in relation to Krishna, or associates of Krishna, they can be more than Krishna. Like Mahaprasadam is equal to Krishna and more than Krishna. Mahaprasad comes to us, but Krishna is not so nice to come to us. His name is nice enough to come. His Vaishnavas are nice enough to come. So they're more powerful. They don't have to follow the rules and regulations that Krishna has to follow of the requirement that it takes to come to us. So does anybody in the internet world have any questions? We're not on the internet world, you're on the internet world. Get it? That's what they say to us. Okay, no questions, so we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Vyas Puja ki jai.
Alright, Nidhi ki jai!
Let's not get carried away from Krishna consciousness.
No, very nice.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Give us a little more. Nice, it's advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Gurudeva was actually just talking about that. I was just hearing on the CD when it was a class that was together with Ranganath. They were talking in Dodge or one of the CDs. And he was explaining about the different expansions of Narada Muni. And he said, and Narada has as many expansions as Krishna.
I had one small question that I just wanted to pose to you, and that is, if we hear Katha from Vaishnava Village and Srila Gurudeva, is this favorable or not necessarily?
What? If they're connected in the mind, they can help you understand and agree with them. And if they're pure, then they're totally pure, then it's like innocent. But if they're not, but if they're in the line, they can direct you to him and help you understand him.